Hi friends, welcome back to i-TUTOR NCERT series. Today we will be discussing Class 9 Geography NCERT Chapter 3 Drainage. So, what is drainage? The term drainage describes the river system of an area. So, what is drainage? It describes the river system of an area. Okay, so drainage means a river system of an area. Small streams flowing from different directions come together to form the main river, which ultimately drains into a large water body such as a lake or a sea or an ocean. The area drained by a single river system. Okay, so the area drained by a single river system, that is called a drainage basin. The area drained by a single river system, this is called a drainage basin. A closer observation on the map will indicate that any elevated area, such as a mountain or an upland, separates two drainage basins. Okay, so a mountain or an upland which separate two drainage basin, and such an upland. Okay, so this upland is known as water divide. Okay. Next, drainage systems in India. The drainage system of India are mainly controlled by the broad relief features of the subcontinent. Accordingly, the Indian rivers are divided into two major groups. Okay, so the Indian rivers can be divided into two major groups. The first one is Himalayan rivers and the second one is peninsular rivers. Okay, so first one is Himalayan rivers and next one is peninsular rivers. Apart from originating from two major physiographic regions of India, the Himalayan and the Peninsular River are different from each other in many ways. Okay, so these two river systems are very different from each other. Most of the Himalayan rivers are perennial. Okay, so the most of the Himalayan rivers, these are perennial. What is perennial? Perennial means they have water throughout the year. So they have water throughout the year. So that is called a perennial. These rivers receive water from the rain as well as from the melted snow from the lofty mountains. So where did they get water? They get water or they receive water from the rain as well as from the melted snow from the lofty mountains. Okay, so this is the water source. Okay, these are their water sources from rain as well as the melted snow. Now, the two major Himalayan rivers, that is Indus and the Brahmaputra, originated from the north of the mountain ranges. They have cut through the mountains making gorges. The Himalayan rivers have long courses from the source to sea. They perform intensive erosional activity in their upper course and carry huge loads of silt and sand. Okay, so they make intensive erosional activities on their upper course and also carry huge loads of silt and sand. Now, in the middle and the lower courses, these rivers form meanders, oxbow lakes, and many other depositional features in their floodplains. Okay, so in the middle and the lower courses, they form meanders, oxbow lakes, and many other depositional features. Okay, we know what is meander. So look at this picture. This feature, okay, this zigzag, this feature, this is called meander. And what is oxbow lake? The separated arc-shaped lake. So this is called oxbow lake. Okay, so this is oxbow lake and this is meander. Now, they also have a well-developed delta. Okay, so these plains or these rivers make also well-developed deltas. Now, a large number of the peninsular rivers are seasonal as their flow is dependent on the rainfall. Okay, so we already discussed about the Himalayan rivers. They are perennial. That means they have water throughout the year. But a large number of peninsular rivers, these are seasonal because they depend on rainfall. If the rainfall is low, then the water level is also low. During the dry season, even the large rivers have a reduced flow of water in their channels. The peninsular rivers have shorter and shallower course as compared to the Himalayan counterparts. Okay, so compared to the Himalayan rivers, the peninsular rivers are shorter and shallower. Okay. However, some of them originated in the central highlands and flow towards the west. And most of the rivers of Peninsular India originate in the Western Ghats and flow towards the Bay of Bengal. Okay, that is in the east. Okay, so most of the peninsular rivers are originated in the Western Ghats and they flow towards the Bay of Bengal. Okay, now The Himalayan rivers. Now let's discuss more about the Himalayan rivers. The major Himalayan rivers are Indus, Ganga and the Brahmaputra. Okay, so these are the major Himalayan rivers. These rivers are long and are joined by many large important tributaries. So what is a river system? A river along with its tributary. This is called a river system. Okay, so the river system consists of a river along with its tributaries. So this is called a river system. So in Himalayan rivers, we need to study about the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra. So first one is the Indus river system. The river Indus arises in Tibet near Lake Manasarovar, flowing west. Okay, note this point, the Indus river is flowing west. It enters India in the Ladakh district of Jammu and Kashmir. So in Ladakh, it enters into India because it rises in the Tibet, okay, near the Manasarovar. It forms a picturesque gorge in this part. Several tributaries like the Saskar, the Nubra, the Shyok, the Hunza, these joins in the Kashmir region. Okay, so these tributaries join to the Indus in the Kashmir region. The Indus flows through Baltistan and Gilgit and emerge from the mountains at Attock. The Satluj, the Bias, the Ravi, the Chenab and the Chelam join together to enter the Indus near Mithankot in Pakistan. Okay, so they join together to enter the Indus near the Mithankot, that is in the Pakistan. Okay, that is in Pakistan region. Now, beyond this, the Indus flows southward, eventually reaching the Arabian Sea. So it reaches the Arabian Sea in Karachi. Okay, so east of Karachi. Okay, finally it reaches the Arabian Sea, that's east of Karachi. The Indus plain has a very gentle slope with a total length of 2,900 km. So the length of Indus is 2,900 km. The Indus is one of the longest rivers of the world. A little over a third of the Indus basin is located in India, in the states of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, and the rest is in Pakistan. Okay, so only in India, the Indus can be seen in Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and the Punjab, and the rest of the part is in Pakistan. So that's about the Indus river system. So Indus river system is the Indus river system is one of the longest rivers of the world, and it rises from the Tibet near the Lake Manasarovar. It flowing to west direction, and it enters India in the Ladakh district of Jammu and Kashmir, and also it have many it have many tributaries like Satluj, Bias, Ravi, Chenab, Jhelum, and also Saskar, Nubra. So these are some of the tributaries of Indus, and it eventually reaching the Arabian Sea. Okay, now the Ganga river system. The headwaters of the Ganga, called the Bhagirathi, is fed by the Gangotri glacier and joined by the Alakananda at Deoprayag in Uttarakhand. Okay, so the Ganga rises near the Gangotri glacier and joined by the Alakananda at Deoprayag. Okay, so the Bhagirathi, that is the headwater of Ganga. So this Bhagirathi and Alakananda, they joined in Deoprayag. Okay, then from there they known as Ganga. Okay, so the Bhagirathi fed by the Gangotri glacier and it joined with the Alakananda at Deoprayag in Uttarakhand, and from there it is known as Ganga. Now at Haridwar, the Ganga emerges from the mountains onto the plains. Okay, so in Haridwar, the Ganga emerges from the mountains to the plains. Okay, it enters to the plain. The Ganga is joined by many tributaries from the Himalayas, a few of them being major rivers such as Yamuna, the Gagra, Gandak, and the Kosi. Okay, so these are some of the tributaries of Ganga. Which are the first one is Yamuna, the Gagra, Gandak, and the Kosi. The river Yamuna rises from the Yamunotri glacier in the Himalayas. Okay, so the Yamuna rises from the Yamunotri glacier, that's in the Himalayas, and it flows parallel to Ganga and as a right bank tributary, and finally it's meet the Ganga at Allahabad. Okay, so the Yamuna meets the Ganga at Allahabad. The Gagra, the Gandak, and the Kosi rise in the Nepal Himalaya. Okay, so these rivers, that is the tributaries of Ganga like Gagra, Gandak and the Kosi, this rise in the Nepal Himalaya. They are the rivers which flood parts of the northern plains every year, causing widespread damage to life and property, but enriching the soil for the extensive agricultural land. Okay, so these rivers help for the agriculture in northern India. Now, the main tributaries which come from the peninsular upland are the Chambal, the Betwa and the Son. Okay, so these are another tributaries of river Ganga. These rise from semi-arid areas, have shorter courses and do not carry much water in them. Allied with the waters from its right and left bank tributaries, the Ganga flows eastward till Farakka in West Bengal. So the Ganga flows to the eastward and finally it reaches the Bay of Bengal. Now, this is the northernmost point of Ganga Delta. Okay, so this area, that is Farakka in West Bengal, this is the northernmost point of Ganga Delta. The river bifurcates here, and the Bhagirathi Hooghly, that is a distributary of Ganga, and this Bhagirathi Hooghly flows southward through the deltaic plains of the Bay of Bengal. Now, the mainstream flows southward into Bangladesh and is joined by the Brahmaputra. So, the Ganga, the mainstream Ganga flows to southward and it joined with the Brahmaputra. Then further down, this is known as Meghna. Okay, so the Ganga and Brahmaputra, they flow southward and this is known as Meghna. This mighty river with waters from Ganga and Brahmaputra flows into the Bay of Bengal. The delta formed by these rivers is known as the Sundarban Delta. Okay, so after flowing to the southward, the Ganga met with the Brahmaputra, and further down they are known as Meghna. Now, finally they went to the Bay of Bengal, and the delta formed by these rivers are known as Sundarban Delta. Now, the length of the Ganga is over 2,500 kilometers. Okay, we already discussed about the Indus. Its length is 2,900 kilometers. Okay, it is one of the largest river of India. Now, largest river of the world. Now, the length of Ganga is 2,500 kilometers. Ambala is located on the water divide between the Indus and the Ganga river. The plains from Ambala to the Sundarban stretch over nearly 1,800 kilometers, but the fall in its slope is hardly 300 meters. In other words, there is a fall of just 1 meter for every 6 kilometers. Therefore, the river develops a large meander. Okay, so that's about the Ganga river system. Next one is Brahmaputra river system. The Brahmaputra rises in the Tibet, east of Mansarovar Lake, very close to the source of Indus and the Salaj. Okay, so we discussed about the Indus river system, and the Indus originates from the Tibet near Mansarovar Lake. Same, the Brahmaputra also rises in the Tibet east of Mansarovar Lake, and this is very close to the Indus and Salaj system. It is slightly longer than Indus. Most of its courses lie outside India. It flows eastward parallel to the Himalayas. On reaching the Namcha Barwa, it takes a U-turn and enters India in the Arunachal Pradesh to a gorge. So, it flows to eastward, and after reaching the Namcha Barwa, it takes U-turn and enter into India in the Arunachal Pradesh district, in Arunachal Pradesh state. Here it is called Dihang, and it joined by the Dibang. Okay. Now, after entering to Arunachal Pradesh, it is known as Dihang, and it joined with Dihang, Lohit, and many other tributaries to form Brahmaputra in Assam. Okay, so the Brahmaputra rises in Tibet east of Mansarovar Lake, and it also when it reaches the Namcha Barwa, it takes a U-turn and enters to India in Arunachal Pradesh. Then here it is called Dihang, and this Dihang joined by the Dibang, Lohit, and many other tributaries to form Brahmaputra in Assam. In Tibet, the river carries a smaller volume of water and less silt, as it is a cold and dry area. So the Tibet is a cold as well as a dry area. So the volume of water or the water level is very small. But after entering into India, okay, in India, it passes through a region of high rainfall. Okay, so the Arunachal Pradesh region, it's a high rainfall area. So after entering to India, it passes through a high rainfall area. And here the river carries a large volume of water and a considerable amount of silt. The Brahmaputra has a braided channel in its entire length in Assam and it forms many riverine islands. Okay, we already discussed about the islands, that is riverine island caused by the Brahmaputra river. Now, which the biggest or the longest riverine island caused by the Brahmaputra river is the Majauli Island. Okay, last class we discussed about that. Now, every year during the rainy season, the river overflows its bank, causing widespread devastation due to floods in Assam and Bangladesh. Unlike other North Indian rivers, the Brahmaputra is marked by huge deposits of silt on its bed, causing the river bed to rise. The river also shifts its channel frequently. Okay, so that's about Brahmaputra. So the Himalayan rivers are mainly there are three Himalayan rivers. First one is the Indus river system, then Ganga river system, and now the Brahmaputra river system. Next, peninsular rivers. The main water divide in peninsular India is formed by the Western Ghats, which runs from north to south close to the western coast. Okay, so the main water divide in peninsular India, that is formed by the Western Ghats that runs from north to the south. Most of the major rivers of the peninsula such as Mahanadi, the Godavari, the Krishna and the Kaveri flows eastward and it drains into Bay of Bengal. So most of the peninsular rivers flow eastward and finally drains into Bay of Bengal. These rivers make deltas in their mouth. Okay, so they make deltas in their mouth. There are numerous small streams flowing west of the Western Ghats. The Narmada and the Tabi are the only long rivers which flow west and make estuaries. Okay, so we know that most of the peninsular rivers are east flowing. That is the Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, etc. But the Narmada and the Tabi, these are the only long rivers which flows west and reach the Arabian Sea. The drainage basin of the peninsular rivers are comparatively small in size. So the first one is Narmada Basin. The Narmada rises in the Amarkantak Hills in Madhya Pradesh. Okay, so the Narmada rises in the Amarkantak Hills in Madhya Pradesh. It flows towards the west in a rift valley formed due to faulting. On its way to the sea, the Narmada creates many picturesque locations. The marble rocks near Jabalpur, where the Narmada flows through a deep gorge, and the Duadhar Falls, where the river plunges over steep rocks, are some of the notable ones. Okay, so the marble rocks near Jabalpur and the Duadhar Falls, these are important picturesques by the Narmada Basin. Okay, so the Narmada flows towards the west. Next is Tapi. The Tapi rises in the Satpura ranges in the Betul district of Madhya Pradesh. It also flows in a rift valley parallel to the Narmada, but it is much shorter in length. Okay, so the Tabi also flowing to the west direction, like in a parallel to the Narmada valley or Narmada river. Its basin covers part of Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Maharashtra. The coastal plains between Western Ghats and the Arabian Sea are very narrow. Hence, the coastal rivers are short. The main west flowing rivers are Sabarmati, Mahi, Bharatapuzha and Periyar. Okay, so these are the west flowing rivers. Next one is Godavari Basin. The Godavari is the largest peninsular river. Okay, so the largest peninsular river is Godavari. It rises from the slopes of Western Ghats in the Nasik district of Maharashtra. So this rises from Western Ghats in the Nasik district of Maharashtra. Its length is about 1500 kilometers and it drains into Bay of Bengal. So the Godavari is the largest peninsular river and it rises from the Western Ghats in Nasik district of Maharashtra and its length is about 1500 kilometers and finally it drains into Bay of Bengal. Its drainage basin is also largest among the peninsular river. The basin covers parts of Maharashtra, that is about 50% of the basin area lies in Maharashtra. Okay, so about 50% of the Godavari basin areas lies in Maharashtra. Then Madhya Pradesh, Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so the basin covers Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. The Godavari is joined by number of tributaries such as Purna, the Vardha, the Pranhida, Manchira and Vani-Ganga and the Pen-Ganga. Okay, so they have many tributaries such as Purna, Pranhida, Manchira, Vine-Ganga, etc. So the last three tributaries, that is Manchira, Vine-Ganga and the Pen-Ganga. These are very large. Because of this length and the area it's cover, it is known as the Dakshin Ganga. Okay, so because of the length and its area cover, the Godavari is known as the Dakshin Ganga. Okay, now next one is Mahanadi Basin. The Mahanadi rises in the highlands of Chhattisgarh. It flows through Odisha to reach the Bay of Bengal. So it also flowing to the east direction and reach the Bay of Bengal. The length of the river is about 860 km. Its drainage basin is shared by Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand and Odisha. Okay, so that is the Mahanadi Basin. Next, the Krishna Basin. Rising from a spring near Mahabaleshwar, the Krishna flows about 1400 km and reaches the Bay of Bengal. Okay, so the rising from a spring near Mahabaleshwar, the Krishna rises near the Mahabaleshwar and flows for about 1400 km to the east and finally reaches the Bay of Bengal. The Tungabhadra, the Koyana, Gadprabha and Musi and Bhima are some of the tributaries. Okay, so these are some of the tributaries of Krishna. Its drainage basin is shared by Maharashtra, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so these are the states which cover Krishna Basin. Next, the Kaveri Basin. The Kaveri rises in the Brahmagiri range of Western Ghats. Okay, so the Kaveri river rises in the Brahmagiri range of Western Ghats and it reaches the Bay of Bengal. Now, total length of the river is 760 km. Its main tributaries are Amaravati, Bhavani, Hemavati and Kabini. Okay, so these are the tributaries of Kaveri: Amaravati, Bhavani, Hemavati and Kabini. Its basin drains the part of Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Okay, so the river Kaveri rises in the Brahmagiri range of Western Ghats and it reaches the Bay of Bengal in the south of Kudallur in Tamil Nadu. And the total length is 760 km. The main tributaries are Amaravati, Bhavani, Hemavati and Kabini. And its basin drains parts of Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Now, the Damodar, the Brahmani and Baitrani and Subarnarekha are some notable examples. Okay, so beside these major rivers, there are some smaller rivers flowing towards the east. Okay, so beside the major rivers are, we already discussed, Mahanadi, Krishna, Kaveri, Godavari. So these are the major rivers. But beside these major rivers, there are some other rivers such as Damodar, Brahmani, Baitrani and the Subarnarekha. These are also some east flowing rivers. Okay, so that's about the perennial and peninsular rivers. Next, lake. India has many lakes. These differ from each other in the size and other characteristics. Most lakes are permanent. Some contain water only during the rainy season, like the lakes in the basin of inland drainage of semi-arid regions. Okay, so in the inland drainage of semi-arid regions, the lakes are some of the lakes have water only during the rainy season. Okay, there are some of the lakes which are the result of action of glacier and ice sheet. Okay, so some lakes are the result of action of glaciers and ice sheets, while the others have been formed by wind, river action and human activities. Okay, so some of the lakes are result of the action of glaciers and ice sheets, and while the others are formed by the wind, river action and human activities. Most of the freshwater lakes are in Himalayan region. They are the glacial in origin. So these are glacier in origin. Okay, the Himalayan lakes are glacier in origin. So that's why they also contain fresh water. They formed when glaciers dug out a basin which was later filled with snow melt. the Ular Lake in the Jammu Kashmir. Okay, so this is example of the example of freshwater lake. Okay, Ular Lake in Jammu and Kashmir. In contrast, is the result of a tectonic activity. Okay, so the Ular Lake is result of a tectonic activity. So and also it is the largest freshwater lake in India. Okay, the Ular Lake is the largest freshwater lake in India. The Dal Lake, Bhimtal, Nainital, Loktak and Bharapani are some of other important freshwater lakes. Okay, so the Dal Lake, Bhimtal, Nainital, Loktak and Bharapani, these are other important freshwater lakes. And Ular Lake is the largest freshwater lake in India. Apart from natural lakes, the damming of the river for the generation of hydel power has also led to the formation of lakes such as Guru Gobind Sagar. Okay, so the Guru Gobind Sagar is the part of Bakranangal project. Now, lakes are of great value to human beings. A lake helps to regulate the flow of river. During heavy rainfall, it prevents flooding, and during the dry season, it helps to maintain an even flow of water. Lakes can also be used for developing hydel power. They moderate the climate of the surroundings, maintaining the aquatic ecosystem, enhance natural beauty, help to develop tourism and provide recreation. Okay, so these are some importance of lakes. Now, next one is role of rivers in the economy. Rivers have been fundamental importance throughout the human history. Water from the river is a basic natural resource and essential for various human activities. Therefore, the river banks have attracted settlers from ancient times. These settlements are now become big cities. Using rivers for irrigation, navigation, hydropower generation is of special significance, particularly to a country like India where agriculture is major source of livelihood for the livelihood of the majority of the population. So this is the river. This is the role of river in the economy, Indian economy, because most of the rivers are cities, that big cities are near the river valleys or river. Now, river pollution. The growing domestic, municipal, industrial and agriculture demand for water from rivers naturally affect the quality of water. As a result, more and more water is being drained out of the rivers, reducing their volume. So, for the domestic, municipal, industrial and agriculture demand, they need more and more water and it drained out of the river, reducing their volume. On the other hand, a heavy load of untreated sewage and industrial effluents are emptied into the rivers. Okay, apart of this, a large amount of waste or the untreated sewage and industrial effluents that also emptied into the river. This affects not only the quality of the water but also the self-cleansing capacity of the river. For example, given the adequate stream flow, the Ganga water is able to dilute and assimilate pollution loads within 20 kilometers of large cities. But the increasing urbanization and industrialization do not allow it to happen, and the pollution level of the many rivers has been rising. So concern over rising pollution in our rivers led to the launching of various action plans to clean the rivers. Okay, so that's about the river pollution. So that's all about this chapter. If you have any doubts, comment below. For more videos, do like, share, subscribe.